Stomach's growling, come on in. It's your best you. We're in the kitchen. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Kat. How are ya?
I'm doing good. I'm in abundance land, as you can see.
Yes, that is quite the selection here, isn't it?
Okay. So what am I talking about? It's Chakra 1. I thought I'd talk about some food. Whimpering little husky underneath me has been smelling. I don't know if you can hear the sizzle.
I can hear the sizzle over here.
Let's see.
I
wonder if you can hear it in the camera.
Too bad they don't have
Hey, look, this is the Jeffrey Zakarian pan, and this thing is awesome. Like, wow, I got sizzle going on, folks, right? Okay, that's sizzle, right? Nice, huh? And this is just a little, some mini meatballs kind of thing. It's the holiday season. Hey, you know, with my husky, our husky, the queen bee of the house is Crystal, a la Crystal here. And this girl is like uber vegetarian, right? She literally will steal things off this table.
Yes, she will.
And
she's been known to steal a bag of pears.
yeah, she's stolen my pears before. But she loves the zucchini. Yes, she do. She's dancing. I can't get the camera down front. There you go. Now you can see it. Come up and get your zucchini. Get zucchini. She loves her zucchini.
Almost as
That'll
much.
keep her happy for a little bit.
Yeah, she likes that almost as much as she likes bananas.
Yeah, she loves banana. And
That's her
Ruby's
favorite.
here. Ruby's in the kitchen. But it's a Sunday afternoon. And basically we're going right into November. It's Chakra 1 time-ish, you know.
Yep.
And, you know, little dinner is served moment. So grab something to nibble on. Because I'm going to be having miniature meatballs that I made. And this should be nice.
Yeah.
And, oh yeah, so, you know, Nutmeg TV is a local public TV. And with the local public TV stations, we get a little bit of types of, for the building to operate, etc. But apparently I didn't know this, and maybe my viewers didn't either. But Joni Weeder, who is the executive director, mentioned that every year we have these annual, you can get your CDs made and thing, and it's a fundraising thing. So that's kind of how they get the little bit of extra funds to pay, you know, whoever's over in the studio, and of course, you know, we bring in people for part of their learning experience for schools and things like that. So it's a really a vital part of a community.
Yeah, it is. Yes,
You know, it integrates people, and it's really, really important. So I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know why I just decided to mention it, but it just seems like it's getting around that time of the year when we have a little bit more giving in our hearts. And of course, giving should be any time, you know. But you never know. You might have some old, record DVDs and things like that, and they convert.
I believe they can also convert from like VHS tapes.
Yeah, they do all that converting
All that
of
kind
the
of
old
stuff.
stuff. And the cool thing about it too is you might even want to have some of these things backed up, because what they're doing now is selling. Oh, you know how vintage, it's like, well, what I'm going to talk about today is kind of the cycles of our ages, you know.
Yeah.
Where are we and what generation and yum yums, huh? This isn't a little, it's just a little miniature, and then of course you could sprinkle fresh parsley. Only was just wrapped and dipped in a little bit of egg and flour solution, nothing fancy. You know, kind of like what we would call, my grandmother would call poor man's eating. You know, and why am I talking about that? Because through our times and our ages, we have different periods. And I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to kind of talk about that? Because oftentimes you hear me mention things like, oh, well, we're in this age, or, you know, we had the Stone Age, or we had the Iron Age, or that's not what I'm talking about this time. I'm talking about something a little bit different, all right? Now, you've heard me talk about the fact that, you know, our consciousness changes as we evolve, right?
Right.
So, you know, Galileo, I think, was the last topic, so I'm just lifting that up. And how they kind of blew the mindset of everybody, and Copernicus, and everybody's like, wow, I thought the Earth and the Sun and how we were all set up together. So we're always expanding and learning new things about maybe ourselves. I don't know, you know, but we're always expanding and we're always learning. So I'm always the inquiring kind of mind. You know me.
Yep.
And I go, I wonder what this is about. I'm going to give you some cool stuff right now. Get your pens and paper ready. Or replay the video or whatever works, you know. But listen, in 1883 to 1900, that generation was called the lost generation. From 1901 to 1924, that was called the greatest generation. From 1925 to 1945, so anyone born between that time, that was called the silent generation. See, the greatest fought the wars and the silent cleaned up quietly. They had the wars and everything, and the silent just kind of came in and said, well, we're just going to get things done. We're going to put our head down. We're not going to say much. That was the silent generation. And the silent generation worked very hard. I'll tell you some little characteristics about our generations. But after the silent generation, Ruby, came the baby boomers. And they were born between no, you're not a baby boomer, I know, 1946 and 1964. So anyone born between 1946 and 1964 were baby boomers. Okay, because the silent generation had a lot of babies too. And they boomed, and the baby boomers came out. The baby boomer generation produced what's called Generation X. And they were born between 1965 and 1980. And then Generation X, you're getting my drift, right? But bear with me. Generation X brought forth Generation Y, 1981 to 1996. Because you may want to say, hey, I'm that. I was born then, I'm that. And then Generation Y created Generation Z. They're from 1997 to 2012. Remember when the world was going to end and stuff?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Then the Generation Z group made the Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha was born from 2013 to 2025. They all haven't been born yet. We still have more alphas to be born, okay? And then after Alpha, the Beta generation will be born from the Alpha generation. Okay, now, you get the idea. Every generation's energy, everything's energy, produces the next generation's energy. So you hear people say, I have no idea how my baby is so smart. How does my child know how to operate this stuff? Because they were in your womb and they energetically received all this type of information because of the way you were living and what we were saying. Mm-hmm. And out of that, it is a more away from what, that's not the right term to use, but it is a more advanced, perhaps evolved, in terms of what needs to be evolved from Stone Age, Iron Age to Information Age, Romantic Age, these ages and these generations. And I know this is something new. I haven't shared this with you.
No, you haven't.
So.
That is very interesting. I know we were talking a little bit about it the other day.
I didn't mention anything about this.
Not about, but a little bit about some of the different ages.
Right. Well, I did put a plate down for you. help yourself here.
Okay.
And, pardon me, well, I did mention and invite you in and say, please pick up something if you want to nosh on something. Because it's Sunday afternoon, late in the afternoon. And I thought, what a great way to do a show. I can kind of bring you in, kind of, virtual. Come on in, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun. It
We're gonna
works.
try one of these people.
But yeah, so basically, I just thought that was a cool, just, drop of information. And many of you say, oh, I already knew that. But isn't it fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes when people are on cusps of generations, like they're born pretty close to the end of one and to the beginning of another, they still may have these types of kind of
Little characteristics of
yes.
those.
So I thought I'd talk about that a little
Okay.
bit. So I wanted to look that up.
By the way, these are very good.
Oh, thanks. I still have my apron on, but I didn't want to splatter my
No, I don't blame you.
my clothing. I don't want to splatter. So anyway, the silent generation, 1928 to 1945. And the baby boomer generation, 1946 to 1964. Okay. That's what I'm going to just do a little comparison. Silent generation. Tradition, baby boomer, independent, right? So it's just a difference around the types of things. Here, I'll let you read that a little bit for a minute. Oh, I gave it to Joan, and she doesn't have
I
glasses.
don't have my readers.
Let me see.
But I can see some of it. Tradition, financial, produce,
Crystal's hair's getting in my throat.
resilience, determination, work ethic.
Can the audience hear you, or are you talking
I
to
think
me?
so. Yeah, no, I think they can hear me. Sensitive to the smallest details, I'm guessing.
Here, let me have that for a second.
Sure.
An analog mind is the silent generation. And so they'll take things down to the smallest of detail.
Okay.
Okay. But the baby boomer is the most sensitive generation of all. They have different characteristics.
Right.
Okay. So the baby boomer is extremely competitive, but and they have a very strong ethic and work ethic, and so do the silent generation. So there's similar characteristics
Yeah.
when you're close by generations.
Okay.
Why? Because the generation's kind of producing, right? So,
Sure.
and you're right on cusps. Like if you think about astrology, someone will say, well, I'm of this sign, but I'm on the cusp of that sign. So you're going to imbue the qualities of both
Sure. Absolutely.
the signs. And okay, here's the gist of it. I have 2 dogs beside me, and I have mini meatballs. So first flying on me. That's why I wear my animal print. I said, well, grr, I'm in the kitchen too with the beasts. But yeah, the baby boomer, self-reliant, self-assured, confident, goal-centric. And the silent generation is really more about resilience, determination, self-sacrifice. And the baby boomer is like, yeah, self-reliant, self-assured. Okay. So there's just differences in that.
Sure, but when you think of the time frame that that these generations are from, it's real. It just goes with it because the silent generation had come after they were after World War I and into World War II. They had to be that way.
Well, you don't have to be
You don't
anyway.
have to. But
you don't have to get in a line and get a jab either. But
True.
People are going to do what
But
the
there was there were
flow
certain
of the
things.
traffic is.
Right, exactly. It was the mindset of that time, for most people.
Right. So when the mindset of a time is women can't read and women can't write and women can't be educated, I'm always trying to remind us of where we came from.
Yeah.
Because we oftentimes I think people they get into the now so much, which is a beautiful place to be, the now.
Sure,
But to get lost in that kind of things have always been this way,
but they haven't.
or yeah, no, there's no way. I mean, we haven't even looked like, or even the definitions, like they said, Cleopatra was a beautiful woman for her time, but under our standards of beauty, there was no beautiful Cleopatra, but we've recreated her to be. But archaeology, they can pull it
Sure.
up and show you what she really would have looked like, and you're like, well, that's not in our definition. But as I said, if you're dealing with more of a kind of a Cro-Magnon
Yeah,
physique, and you have someone who has a different kind of coming out of that as they move from the generations and the crossing of the breeding, etc. A lot of times they were just interbreeding.
yeah,
That interbreeding of keeping the line pure, and ending up destroying the line entirely.
yeah, they did.
So so we evolve, and we are actually in what's called the alpha generation.
Okay.
So I thought I'd pull out a little bit about what's going on and see how it resonates with you. All right, the alpha generation is for everyone born after 2010. We're in 2022. Okay. So that's 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
12 years right now. And they're born already with the ability to hyperconnect at high-speed data. We had blocks, for heaven's sakes. Because their parents weren't on high-speed data for us to hyper-interconnect energetically into that space. So every generation is built upon the previous generation. And then sometimes the generations and civilizations disappear. They just disappear.
Yeah.
And we spend archaeological time,
Digging them up.
violating the dead. So,
Yeah.
So alpha children are permanently connected. In other words, they're permanently connected to this interface data high world that we live in now. They're extremely visual. Can you imagine what this alpha generation went through with 2.5 years of masks?
Oh.
Because they're very visual, so that must have cut off
had
a big part of their,
Yeah.
And they're technologically empowered. Okay. They're highly diverse, but I think what's interesting is yet they're also highly opinionated. So it's like, that's an interesting dance. Okay. For them, artificial intelligence is the reality. AI is the reality. It's not like, that's, scientific, futuristic. No, it's like, where's
No,
my
that's-
robot?
that's-
I
yeah.
want something okay. Highly personalized learning. So in other words, in order for the alpha generation to really, their learning is based on a really high level of learning. What is it to your heart? You want a meatball too?
That she does.
My goodness, did I get one yet? Not really. Not between the two kids here. And highly personalized learning. Now, get this. Social media. Hi, sweetie. Be gentle. Social media is the dominant mode of their interaction. So in other words, they're not outside interacting with one another.
Right.
They're not writing letters, or they're not on the telephone. No.
No.
They're on social media.
They're on social media.
Okay. And that's the main form of interaction. So the future is here,
Yeah.
as we can see, through the Generation Z, who birthed and are still birthing the alpha generation.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, as I've said, every generation informs the previous generation. And it happens from the womb and the environment that the child is exposed to in the womb. The other thing is the alpha generation, they don't play by the rules. And they won't share their economy. So they're not going to play by the rules, and they don't want to share their economy, their money. They don't want to share it. Now the beta generation is what's coming after the alpha. And they begin in 2025 and they go to 2039. I hope to still be alive, but it is many believe that the beta generation is going to save the world.
Really?
They have such an evolving mindset, and the balances between life and work become blurred. It's almost as if you, like what we used to say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Yeah. So, but not everybody gets that kind of a world. I don't know. That's not too far away. I'm not sure. 2025.
It's not. That's.
It's not that far away. You
That's
know.
3 years.
But I'm just, basically talking about what we have as a frame of reference that we use as a society to say, hey, how do we measure where we're going?
Yeah.
As I say, why are we here? Where are we going? And certainly being able to inform the previous generation or the generations to come, that's what I'm all about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's about being able to, as they say, it takes a village to raise a child, because whatever the parent is pretty much putting in is going to be limited to what the parent has.
Yeah.
Or dual parents.
Yeah.
I don't care about the gender. I'm just saying human beings.
Human beings
sharing,
that are
sharing knowledge to other human beings.
Exactly.
So. And that's how our generations evolve.
Yeah.
And then we have the rise, and I was talking with someone about this the other day, and they were really kind of like, I don't understand, when are we, and I said, what happens is when light comes, darkness comes, and evil never sleeps. I don't if evil isn't going to take a break,
no.
Evil isn't going to go, oh wow, I see that there's some light, and therefore, I got my little slippers on today. I'm going to take Koji in the kitchen with the slippers. It's kind of rainy, it's that transitional season time,
Yeah, it is.
And so I just wanted to do something warm and cozy for everyone. Cozy, and have a little, this is a little.
Well, the kitchen is a cozy place too.
This is a little organic red type of wine.
And I have an
Very
organic
white. We have an organic white. So I just thought, well, it's Sunday. So anyway, yeah. I thought that would be an interesting little plate of food to have the little bit of the meatballs, mini meatballs with a little mini course in these ages that we are going through.
Yeah, and you got to remember where how did you get to where you are now? Generational. And if you look back on, like we said, now you and I are both in the baby boomer generation.
Shh. I thought I was Generation Z.
Oh, I thought you were
No, I'm beta. I'm beta. Forget
You're beta.
You're your consciousness can evolve. You don't have to be limited and stuck, but some people do get stuck in their generational gaps, kind of.
Yeah.
But then some, kind of pop out of it and go, hey, wow, there's like a whole new mindset out there. I'm gonna enjoy it and see where it goes. And some people are like stuck back. I want it the same.
I want it this way.
A lot of nostalgic callbacks to, in the days of yore, it was so much better. No, not really. There were all these other different kinds of obstacles.
Well, every generation has their obstacles.
Exactly.
And you just have to overcome
I don't know why that's the setup, but the setup is the way it's set up. That's the way it's set up. You want to be here on planet Earth.
Yeah, I gotta work.
You gotta find your way through the leaves.
Yes,
Speaking of which, I'll end on this. The leaves.
Oh yes.
I went out to the yard just because I wanted to see what was going on, with my gardens, and I pulled out this little potpourri, and I thought it would match my outfit, and it would be fun if they just kind of got a little leaf shower. So I'm going to end today's show with a little bit of a leaf experience. Say, these are all the different leaves that are coming up, You've got, they're falling. See, they got the little leaf show. Aren't they pretty? But you can notice that you've got different colors, and each one is like, see the colors? And I love that. See? So we're right at the point in the season where the leaves are coming off of the trees.
And they're all changing.
I got some
different
bulbs
colors.
ready, you know. They're little daffodil bulbs. I'm going to pop them in. But that's about what's going on, and I'll see you again. I know you've been sitting here with us today, having the little nosh and things. So we appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely, absolutely. We love having you join us, whether it's sitting around having a little food and conversation, or whether we're sitting by the fire. We love having you here.
All right. Well, you know our time's run out, Joan.
Yep.
I hate to cut us off, but here we go. Another episode of Your Best You. And remember to check out what I mentioned about the DVDs and things like that, because it might be a great holiday gift, and it's a way that you can support your local public television stations. We can't do it without viewers like you. You know that. Like Connecticut Public TV, you hear them say that. The same thing holds for the little local places. Like this covers a whole segment of Connecticut.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Riverview Apartments is Bristol's two-time beautification award-winning residence community for adults age 55 and older. They offer 1 or 2 bedroom apartments with modern appliances, air conditioning, wall-to-wall carpet, and tiled floors. Both heat and hot water are included. Riverview also offers a wide range of activity rooms that include a billiard parlor and a spacious community room. It is handicap accessible with safe, secure parking for tenants and ample off-street parking for visitors. 860-940-6757 or riverviewbristol.com.